that you can hear me well. And if you can't hear me well, that will mean you are too far from me because I can't feel you, you can't feel me. Please just come closer so that you can feel each other. Today we want to talk about trauma healing. Trauma healing, I want to pick it from yesterday. When was that? Wednesday. When we were here, I want to pick it from where I stopped. And that is where I ended last time when I was here. And this is what I said, that in as much as each one of us will go through crisis, there is still hope for each one of us to move from left to the right side. And I said this can be done in various ways, but above all, God can pick you from left and He can take the right. One thing I know, every one of us here, we want Mr. Right, or Mrs. Right. Everything we want is the right, not the left. Why? As you can see there, left is not a very good place to be in. The right is where we all want to be. However, different circumstances happen to us. Different events happen. Different challenges happen. And at the end of the day, we find ourselves when we are crushed. We find ourselves when things are falling apart in our lives. That's why today, this morning, in the next 1 hour, my hope will really be that we will be able to move from left to the right side.
Amen.
That's my hope. And I pray that we will be able to work together to see it happen. One thing that I want to be able to discuss with us, even as we talk about trauma healing, is that trauma is not a sickness. Yeah? But it can lead to sickness. Trauma is not a sickness, but it can lead to sickness. Because each one of us, we have different events in our lives. And if these events are not well taken care of, then things begin to unfold. That is where mental health crisis comes in. Mental health challenges begin to arise, and things begin to fall apart. That's why today we want to discuss this issue. And please, if there was enough time, we will have a practical session. Because trauma healing is not one thing that you can do in a classroom. No. But I was reminded that this afternoon we have games. We need to see the winners and all of that. So I must respect. But still, when you have your own time, every one of us will be able to take their own steps to be able to deal with their own issues. Because one thing I know is, take this from me, you will never do my push-ups, and I will never do yours either. You know push-up? Press-up. I can't do press-up for you, and you can't do it for me either. So that means what? Every one of us will be able to take responsibility to be able to see what is happening to me. And whatever happened to me, how can this be helped? So that we are able to see how do we go about this. And everybody will be able to take a place of responsibility to deal with this. Now, I want to begin from my stories. Last time I said, if I had the time, I would have shared with you many of my stories. One thing I know is, if you are here, depends on how life has been for you. If life has been treating you on the left side, and you don't take action, you will have to remain there. Because moving from left to right is by choice. Everybody must make a choice to move from left to the right side. It is by choice. And this is something that every one of us will be able to do practically for ourselves. I know there are situations in our lives where we begin to blame other people for the events in our lives. We look for sympathy. We ask people to sympathize with us, but we don't take responsibility. However, even when things have happened that way, one of the things that I keep emphasizing for every other young person is you have your own life to lead. And your life is in your own hands. And you can take the responsibility to choose. One thing which is even very happy for me today, I'm glad about, is today is the 31st of January 2023. We are going into a new year. We are going into a new year. But I can assure you, if you don't take responsibility for your own life, even when we are going into the new year, you might remain in your old year. Let me explain something here. That explains why, even I'm very convinced some of you, you're going to write so many resolutions for the coming year. Even I'm sure last year you did. But nothing has changed maybe. You know why? There was no action taken. And that action is only taken by you. So here we want to see, if we are to truly analyze our lives, if we are to truly see how things have been in our lives, how do we move? Because we go through a lot of crises. That's the reality. Like I said, trauma is not a sickness, but it is an event that can actually make you get into sickness. Yeah? Because there are things that we didn't expect. There are things that we don't expect to happen. But when it happens, two things happen. Number one, either me and you can act in, or we act out. And this is where trauma now is. The second thing is, hurt people will hurt others. If you are hurt, you will hurt others too. Because each one gives what they have. You can't give what you don't have. You give what you have. So what if what you have is what you give out? For instance, if you are in pain and you are angry, that is the same thing you will give others. You cannot give out love when you are not loving. You can't give out love when you are in pain. If you try, it will be just for purpose of how do I best term it? For show off by acting when you don't. And that's why many of us are living in denial. You know why? Even that's how we are raised. That's why if I ask you how are you, you tell me you are fine. Even when you have your problem. Because you live in denial. So when you act in or you act out, still it affects your life. That's where the issues of mental health still come around from an issue. Now what do I mean when you act in, for example? When you act in, your target will be destroying your own life. You begin to do things that can destroy your own life. For example, you begin to go into drugs, which will destroy your own life. You go into different other things that can destroy your own life. If you act out, you are thinking of how do I also cause the downfall of others. That is where violence comes. You want to cause others harm because you are acting out. That explains why. Do you know why many students normally, if there is a strike, for example, this has to have nothing to do with you. Yes? But do you realize that even it doesn't have nothing to do with you, but when you are acting out, you end up destroying glasses of the school or of buildings. You know why? You are acting out as a result of unresolved conflict in your life. That's why we must be able to manage these issues. We must be able to heal. If we don't heal, then nothing will move. I want to give this example. as we're still learning about the trauma healing, many of us have been through different circumstances, right? I want to give you an example. I just came with this money. I think this is the legal status of this guy, right? How much is this money?
5,000.
First check it with good money. Good money. Very new, moreover. You have good money, very new money, and this is a legal tender. And this, in any country, you don't play with this because this is the whole of Uganda, you don't play with it. Yeah? Just like your life is very important. Nobody should be able to play with it. And one thing is, the one who made this money knows that this must be 5,000, and the one who created it is the one who determines the value, not the user. Okay? But then, still, things can happen to this money. Though it's not allowed, just like how things can happen to you when they're not allowed. For instance, this good money. Because this money, the new one, I thought the way to go. Yes. And I am also much aware that because of this, it may have some issues. And even equally, some of you, your life has been turned like this. And this has been very painful as for this money, even for your own sake, it has also been very painful. And this is what the trauma does. Some of you have been torn like this, either through them, some through defilement, some through domestic violence, some through abuse of all kinds, some through rejection, where you don't want it in your family, you don't want it by your own parents, you don't want it to come to school, you don't want it even here, you want to touch the microphone and then they tell you, no, pass it on. And you feel you don't want it. And you know, these issues, if they are not resolved, if these issues are not handled well, I can assure you, not only for this money, but for your own life's sake, things can go out of hand. In fact, you are acting the way you are acting because something happened to you, you are trying to prove a point. And that's what trauma does. That's why we're talking about the acting in and acting out, because when trauma happens, when unexpected things that you didn't expect happens to you, it crushes your emotions, it kills your self-esteem, it affects how you look at your life, it affects how you look at everything else. That's why some of you have lost hope because of whatever has happened to you. But that's why we're here, saying, hey, there is a management. Treatment is available. things can still work out. In as much as things have happened the way they've happened to you, first of all, you hit the road. Yeah. For some of you, like if you are just in the tomb like this, for some, not only the really tomb but even squeeze. Even squeezed, even kicked, played around me, stepped on. Everything has fallen apart. But I want to assure you, that's why we're talking about those issues. Even when things have happened to this man the way it has happened, one thing that is here is through trauma healing and management practices, we are able to see how do we get back this money to its former use. Number one, you can still stretch this money. Somebody is advising that you can use a sellotape. That is one of the ways. But even still, without sellotape, you can still use a super glue. Or even if there's no super glue, you can still have this money the way it is. You can still take it to the bank. You can still take it somewhere, and this is still legal tender, you can still use it. The value has never changed. In spite of what has happened to this money, the value has never changed. Equally, your value has never changed just because of the thing that has happened to you. Your value has never changed. One thing I want to also remind you about is when things happen to us the way they have happened, when things happen to you the way they have happened, and these issues push you to the left side, and because it draws you to the left side, your vision is impaired. You don't see far. If you have ever been to Chikubo, Kampala, and you've seen how those people who are loading luggage on their necks, if you have ever seen how those guys move, you will they don't see where they're going, but they know they must go this way. That's what the Lord tell you fast. And what happens? They only look down. And they move with their luggage because they cannot raise their head because of the luggage which is on their neck. And if that is exactly what happens to us. We lose our focus, we can't see far. We only see here. That explains why some of you who are here, you are right now taking drugs. You know why? Because you have lost your focus, you have lost your vision for your life. All you are seeing is here under. You're not seeing anything far. You're only seeing it close. Because it has entered your eyes. Do you know why some of you are trying to become firefighters? Do you know what firefighters are? It's because you think you have lost everything, so there is nothing good that is able to come from you. So you have decided that let me be a generous person with anybody, so you become very generous with your body. In fact, right now as I speak, some of you don't even now have private parts because of public parts. Because a private part is kept private, right? But because of whatever has happened to us, we've decided that we've lost it all. After all, nothing else. So you have decided to put whatever is supposed to be private to public. Many of us, we've lost identity just because of what has happened to you. You've lost identity of who you truly are. That's why you are living the life you are living right now. But I've come to announce to you, moving from left to right is possible. And it involves work, which must first of all come from you. It is until you come out and say, you know what, this is where I am, I need help. Otherwise, if you continue to live in denial, I assure you, you will keep staying here because every time you will want to go there, you will live in denial and you are sure everything is okay. Let me even tell you this, why trauma is eating so many of us is this. Like I normally say it, you are as sick as your deepest secret that you have kept yourself. Things happen to you, just like how things happen to this man. As of now, you've got a tongue, right? And because of fear, because of stigma, because of shame, because of guilt, because of whatever name you can give it, you have decided that let me keep to myself. At the end of the day, the more you keep to yourself, the more you are sinking into depression, the more you're having mental health crisis, the more you're having uncontrolled anger, the more you're giving yourself to alcohol and drugs, the more you're giving yourself to crises that is abnormal. The other day I was here and I was telling you that some of you are adults, but you are saying now you're a boy. You're a boy, but you feel you're now a girl. Identity crisis. Because of an event that happened to you. And because of that, you have decided that you're going to keep there. Because you feel you cannot come out. And this is where the crisis is. I want to announce to you again, whatever has happened to you that to not be able to define who you are. After all, God says He's interested in your future, not your background, not your past. Yeah? Coming back to my own story, I've shared the other day a bit of it, but let me tell you. Our grandfather had 13 wives, so I know the pain of living in a polygamous home, but we are rejected and abandoned. Because I was even rejected before I was born. Still in the womb, I was rejected already. Born through rejection, lived through rejection, everything falling apart. Nobody caring, nobody saying anything. There were days we didn't have food. Many times when we did porridge of cassava flour for supper. Many times, in fact, if you read my book, Overcome Rejection, you will read some of those stories there. My first pair of sandals, the new ones, came when I was going to sit for my PhD in 1998. When I was not going for PhD, meaning from P1 up to P7, I was barefoot. But to build my self-esteem for the exams, I decided to buy sandals to at least go to sit for UNED. And that's the last paper I carried. That sandals, I used it for Christmas of 98. I know what it means to come from a poor background where everybody who is poor, even calls you poor, I know what it means. Our food used to come at 5 or 6 p.m. And with that, it will be our breakfast and lunch and supper. Everything combined. And many occasions, even when we were conducting polygamous home, in many occasions we were denied food. In also many occasions we were denied accommodation. Right now, like it was raining here, like as it is raining and it is cold, we will be pulled out of the night to come out and then they close the door and then we sit in the cold. We've been through all kinds of abuse. You can mention it. However, that's not being able to define you. Before coming here, I was in Nairobi, and while I was in Kenya, I go to Kenya a lot nowadays, and I've been to. Some of you could have seen me on UBC. Some of you could have seen me on Bethany TV. Others could have seen me on different platforms, hearing about me everywhere. But you should have known my history. Because every one of us, we have a history, we have where we are coming from. Some of you right now, even you are suicidal. You want to commit suicide because you feel it is too much for you to bear. But I want to announce to you, the choice you make to come from left to right it must come from you. It is a choice you make. It's not about what others have done to you. It's what you can do to yourself. It's not about what others have not done for you. It's about what you can do. And what was one of my resolutions to do? Right from primary. By the way, I paid my own fees, both primary and secondary as well. If you didn't know. One thing I decided was, now in that case, I should be the first one to be able to study in my grandfather's line. Because everything was about polygamy, and when you are around 15, 16, you must marry. I decided that I should not marry at that age. It was a choice I made. I made a choice to study. Even when fees was a struggle. I remember all level riding 6 kilometers on a bike to school every day. Because I was a day scholar. Riding 6 kilometers to school again 6 kilometers back home. On daily basis. I joined the boarding when I was in level. In fact, that was the time when my body weight began improving because of the good meals now. We were eating well at school. But when I come back home, back to square one, I lose all the weight in 3 weeks. I also add some weight when it was full of mangoes. But your background should not be able to define who you think you are. Number two, whatever has happened to you, whatever someone has done to you, that should not be able to define you to think you are not good enough. Talking about trauma healing, how do you heal trauma then? How do you do this? How do you do it? Number one, treatment for trauma involves 3 angles. That's why the other day when I was here, just like the way we treat mental illness, it is the same way we are treating trauma, because trauma is one of the mental illness disorders, if not managed well. That's why because of trauma, you can become mentally ill because of a traumatic experience that has happened to you. For example, if you watch your relative dying in a queer way, you watch somebody dying in a funny way, queer death, you watch it, I can assure you that can just paralyze your life. Number two, accident. If you got into an accident which was fatal, and though you recovered, whenever you see the place, you can be shocked. Yeah? Rape. If you have been raped, for example, you will always be conscious about your life. That's why if some of you don't trust anybody anymore. You're always trying to see who is coming near you. Another example is when you have been tortured, any torture. That's why some people right now, when I talk like this, they can do like that. Yeah? So, that explains why maybe something happened then. That's why so every time someone takes the hand like this, they think he's going to do something. What trauma does is it keeps you in bondage. You can't be free again. You can't be yourself. But when we talk about treatment of trauma, we're talking about how do we get released. Have you ever carried your chicken from somewhere far, where you tie the legs? Yeah? When you tie the legs of your chicken, maybe you're traveling from Arua to Kampala, or Kampala to Arua, or Guru, wherever, and then you arrive with your chicken. Even when you remove the rope, the chicken cannot move. Yeah? They can't move. They will still sit down there. After some time, when there is no rope, they will try to untie their, because in their mind there is still a rope. They will try to, because they're not sure whether they are really untied already. The same way. That is why sometimes you try to move, but when you remember some of those events, you come back. You don't take action again. That's what trauma does. And trauma manifests in various ways. And it is different for all different age groups. But one thing I want to say, is whatever that has happened to you should not, number one, define you. Number two, it is not to have a lasting impact to affect your destiny. Number three, trauma, you can manage it, you can get rid of it, you can be able to deal with it. How do we get there? Number one, where things have become so severe, you must get medication from a recognized medical facility. That's what I'm talking about in the treatment. You need a medical treatment for trauma. Number two, you need what we call narrative therapy. You should be able to explain what happened at some point as you talk these issues out. But I can tell you that right now, some of you who will say, I don't want to talk about it because it reminds me. It is good to remind you now, because what happens with this talk therapy is, as you talk about the event, as you talk about what happened, as you describe the event that took place, in as much as it is painful, sometimes it makes you emotional and you cry. That is a part of the healing. Has anybody ever had a past? A boy? Anybody who has ever had a boy? You know boys? How do you call a boy in Uganda? Yeah? Now what happens is, just like you see, when you have that thing that is a boy, that's a boy, either here or here, normally the back, it is normally the back, and then what happens is, as it keeps growing bigger, it keeps paining you, right? Time comes when it has to pass, and it pains you the more, and then it becomes a bit. And every time you just feel you're not yourself. What happens is, when you cut that boil, when you cut that part, it's painful. And even more painful when you are squeezing out the pus. Yes? But at the end of the squeezing, when all the pus is out, when you open that wound, what happens? Healing comes. And then you will never remember that you once upon a time had a boil, because the pain was gone. That is the same thing how we treat trauma with the narrative therapy. Because in as much as it is painful to talk about those issues, it helps. So I want to encourage you, talk to somebody. Talk to somebody about what has happened to you. Talk to somebody alone. Talk to somebody. Ask for help. Ask for help from anybody. Because at the end of the day, we all need help. One of the ways you can only come from left to right is when you ask for help. And when you explain what you're going through. Even Jesus did that. Jesus, if Jesus can ask for help, who are you not to ask for help? Please open up and talk. I want to give an example of Job. In the Bible, we read that Job, everything was falling apart. He lost his property, he lost his children. Then he had his three friends who came to visit him. And then we said Job opened up. And then he began to explain what happened. He opened up and he talked everything that was on his chest. That's why I said, you know, women, when they're going to the market, they talk. Even when they're in the salon, they talk. Even if they don't know each other, at least they will never solve their problem. And in that way, it is two-way. Narrative therapy helps in a two-way in that. Number one, it prevents you from getting mental breakdown. Number two, it also helps you to heal from mental breakdown. Or it helps you to heal from trauma. So please talk, let's talk. Let us talk. Let's talk. Don't be in isolation. Because I know what happens to many of us when any experience happens to us. We coil ourselves, then we begin to live alone. We don't trust other people, we don't want people anymore. Because we don't trust them. Because we assume anything can happen. Please, I want to call upon each one of us. Help is available. Help is available. I want to do this homework. I want us to do this practically. I know you have your notebooks, you have your pens. I want to give you a few questions that you can be able to work with. And I want to ask one organizer to come here. I want to give him or her some assignment. One of the officials. Yeah. Now, I want you to do for me some assignment by yourself. And this is between you and yourself. Don't fear what your neighbor is saying. Don't fear your neighbor because it is between you and yourself. Because each one of us, we have walked our own journeys. My journey has never been your journey. Yeah? My journey is not your journey. We are all from different backgrounds, different families, different experiences, but suffering the same maybe problems. Number one, divide for me your age by 3. Divide your age by 3. For example, if you are 15, if you divide your age by 3, that means this what? 5. So you will have 0 to 5, 6 to 10, 11 to 15. Those are 3 segments. If you are, nobody is 30, I think, but if you are 30, that means that will be 10. 0 to 10, 11 to 20, 21 to 30. If you are 21, you divide by 3, that will be 7. 0 to 7, 8 to 14, 15 to 21. So divide in those 3 segments. And I want you to, in those 3 segments, what are the success stories that you have? Success stories in those 3 age segments. In those 3 age segments, come up with your success stories. Number 2, who has helped you to achieve those dreams and or goals or successes? I think this one is easier to do. If your friend is dozing, you have my permission to tap on them and tell them they can rest on condition. Let the devil not use them as an example. Because the devil can make them to cause a vibration of a high frequency on this bench. So are we done with that? 3 success. We have 3 segments there. We're talking about success stories and then people who have helped you to achieve those. For example, I'm sure many of you have started P7 and you are no longer in P7, right? Anybody in P7 here?
Yes.
How many? If you're in P7, at least you're starting for P7. So you are no longer in P7. You are going to secondary now. Yeah? So at least there is a second story. Maybe you were in nursery and then you went to top class and then you graduated already. You are a graduate of nursery. So that's also an achievement. So who is behind that success? Are we together there? Finished there. Now let's go to number 2. Second segment. And the second segment, we're going to do it on a fresh paper, which must be torn out outside. The second one, we're going to do it on a separate paper, which has to be torn and has to be somewhere. You plucked out the paper. In this one, I want you to come up with, in those 3 segments, what are some of the painful memories you have? That's why I said don't look at your neighbor, be yourself. In those three segments of your life, what are the most painful events or experiences that you have encountered? Is it the abuse? Is it the violence? Is it the rape? Is it defilement? What is it? What is the thing that made this experience of the money? The pain, because this is a painful experience. Yeah? What is it? This is by yourself. Nobody should even be able to see it. This is you and yourself. And then, who was responsible for the pain? Who was responsible for the pain? Was it your father? Was it your mother? Was it your brother, your sister, your uncle, your auntie, your senga, your daughter, your teacher? Was it me? Who was behind this painful moment for you? Who was behind it? And then from there, write down their names. If there are 10, write all those names. Write their names. For purpose of not, since we are sitting close to each other, you can just write one of the names, so that you don't write the full name. But you know who you are talking about. And then, I think we're through with that. The next is, close your eyes and envision that person, because you don't have to see them. And envision them and tell them you have forgiven them, and let them be happy and blessed. I know because of the experience that you have been through, you have never blessed them. Close your eyes and tell in your heart, don't say it loud. Close your eyes in your heart. Forgive them from your heart. And speak a blessing upon them. Write across that paper, forgiven and released. Try to do for evil. Today, the 31st of December 2023, God will turn it for good. Because what somebody did was to put you in pain. What somebody did was to put you in a place of hopelessness. What somebody did to you was to put you in a place where you don't see anything good that can come from you. However, today I want to remind you, I have a $30 coin here. I have a coin here. Yes? And I want, my hope is, when as you look at me and you look at the coin here, this should be able to teach us a lesson here. Many of us, when I ask, how many sides of a coin do you know? She says 2. How about you? Not far from her, also 2. Many of us, we knew and we've been knowing that a coin has 2 sides. And I want to announce to you that is where we have a problem. A coin has 3 sides. If you see a coin having 2 sides, you will only see the fish. And you will never see the crested crane. You will never see the coat of arm. If you are seeing the coat of arm, you will never see the beautiful fish. Yeah? Because if you see a coin with 2 sides, you will only see one side, you can't see the other side. And this is where things have been. That is why we have been seeing things on one side. But when you are able to see the coin from the 3rd side, that is when you are able to observe both sides. Okay? That is where we are able to see on both sides. That is where you will be able to see rejection as protection. You didn't get it. You see, when you see it from one side, you only see one thing. When you see protection as protection, then that's when you know that it's actually from here. Because when you come on this side, this is when you see both sides. I want to give you an example. After 8 heart breaks, I told you I had 8 heart breaks. Now I'm married. After 8 heart breaks, I was able to get the move that I have right now. If I did not see the opportunity, I will only see one side, I won't see the other side. If I did see the abuse, whatever happened in my family, as something that is of value, even right now I will be having problems with the settlement in the church. Yeah? But I want you to see something here. When Joseph finally met the brothers who sold him, who wanted to kill him first of all, and who sold him, yeah? It was until Joseph was on the third edge of the coin. That's when he told the brothers, no, you didn't sell me. God sent me ahead of you to come and preserve your life. Have you ever read that verse in the Bible?
Yeah.
In Genesis. Yes. The life of Joseph.
Yes.
If you were in the shoes of Joseph, what would have you told? What would you have done for those brothers? The ones who wanted to kill you, who even sold you, you have suffered, you have been made, you have been suffering, you were even accused falsely, you are thrown in prison, now you have suffered in prison, now you have become the prime minister. Now I am man. Katia, now they have come. And they want food from you. If you were the one, what would you have done? You would have sent them away, or you would have actually revenge for them. But instead, what did he say? Joseph said, no, guys, you did not sell me, because he was not seeing from one side of the coin. He was seeing from the third edge where he saw both sides. He said, no. If you did not send me away, not even you who sent me, it was God who sent me ahead of you to come and preserve your lives. You never sold me. That only came when he was at that third edge. So from today, I want you to know, whatever has happened to you is not by mistake. God knew it will happen, and indeed it has happened. However, it is time for us to get a place where we say we can no longer remain in this place of pain. We can no longer remain in this place of agony. We can no longer remain in this place of unforgiveness and all that. Amen?
Amen.
I want to see if I can go through here. Some of them are here. Addiction, alcohol, drugs, sex, gambling. All of these are happening as a result of somebody is acting in it. That's why you want to prove a point. You want to prove a point. Overworking with this sexual behavior, depression, sadness, withdrawal, hopelessness, all of these issues, they happen when you're acting in. How about when you act out? Criminal behavior, aggression, violent acts, playing other people with ability, inability to be flexible, to show empathy, domestic violence, abuse, repetitive conflicts. So all these issues only affect you because you want to take it. Causes, I talk about this already, also the husband, sex abuse, rape and violence, forced and marriage, chronic illnesses, injury to self and family members, child labor and pregnancy, rejection, necessity and death of a loved one, life threats, creative of parents and family members, physical and emotional harassment, and so on. All of these issues can cause trauma, and this is what we're going through. That's how our life has been formed, just like how that man was formed. What about the degree of trauma? Some people with trauma can be long-lasting, others can just be for a short time, and all of that happens because of the following. Number one, unforgiveness of the event. Whether you expect it or you didn't expect it. Because the people who expect and who know this might happen, but still the thing go ahead and then the thing happens. Closeness to the event, this of the event, number of dangerous traumatic events, relationship to the victim, all these issues will affect us and it will be in a place where we don't understand what is going on. And it will take us long, I am looking forward. Common reactions to trauma: numbness, shock, disbelief, fear, anger, shame, hopelessness, self-blame, depression, anxiety, embarrassment. All these things are about, right? Signs and symptoms: confusion, fear of going crazy, memory problems, denial, nightmares. Some people have weird when they're sleeping. Because of nightmare. Memory problem, some people don't remember what happened because they have lost their memory. They can flashbacks, they will always have the flashbacks of what happened. Problems in the thinking, hearing, knowing, judgment, and conversation is a problem. Problem is in biology and problem solving. Avoidance of preoccupying thoughts with the traumatic event, learning problems, all these issues come as a result of trauma. Physically, we even have people who sleep in affected, that's why they sleep disturbances, fatigue, abdominal dizziness, faintness, nausea, aches and pains. That's like the things that happen when we are mentally ill. The same issues are here. The same symptoms. Emotional, there's anxiety, there's worry, sorrowfulness, lack of expectations. That's why even when I ask some of you, what are you expecting in the new year? You have no answer because you're picking up on life. You are just living. After all, the sun rises, you wake up, the sun goes down, you sleep. But there is no plan, there is no nothing. After my illness, that's why some of you are here, but not here. Jealousy, all these issues on Wednesday. Yeah? Behavior, they are here. But the long-term effect of trauma, if it was well handled, is total withdrawal. you think you need to do the last because of the experience that you have been through. Suddenly, bro, in as much as your height is not affected by it, but if you are going through trauma and abuse or all that, you may have a slightly growth. Self-blame, where you blame yourself for everything, deceptive disorders, you can't accept with others very well, you can't fit in. Nightmare and bedwetting. If you are here and you feel bedwet, it is because there is an event that needs to be addressed in your life. You know the bedwetting? Yes. You don't know? Okay, bedwetting is when you urinate in the bed. When you are sleeping. That is the normally we have dreams. And that is the only thing that comes to pass immediately. When you dream at night, you are urinating somewhere in the bush. When you wake up, that's when you have the dream has come to pass. Because when regression is not developed, even the assessment take long to develop, playfulness, depression, and all this. So, that's why many of you who even be in a place where you're suicidal, making constant sympathy and affection, you're always complaining because you want people to sympathize with you. You're always complaining. All these are this addiction, substance abuse, poor life, poor academic performance, going to the streets, sleeping from home, parents, begging and so, being from home, way out from home, not men and so on. So, all these issues happen, but health is available. We've done this, and if you are not done this, I want to tell you again, please do it. Because this is going to change your life. Because one thing happens, when you are feeling through this pain, you don't see success stories. When you are feeling through this pain, you don't see something good that happens to you. Yeah? That's why some of you don't have that something good happens to you. You don't see that anything good. But yet you have done some good things. Yet there are some good things that have ever happened to you. But I want to challenge you, even when you are still here. I want you to reflect again. What are those positive things that have happened to you? What are those positives? Just like we look at them. From back, what are those things that have happened to you? And who are the most people in your life who make you achieve those dreams? They are there. As well as this is where now we're ending with 5 painful memories you have in each of these sessions. What are those painful memories that you remember? What are those things that you remember? Which are painful? And who was responsible? Who had too much? Not as supposed to be today. Who had too much? And then what did this not do? Or what did they say? Or what did they do that happened? Because now you know the event. You know what happened. Just like how this man was torn, and even stepped on, and even everything happened to it. You remember? So you can still have those memories. That's why we must remember those issues. And after those issues, that is what we've just been doing. That's why I said, get a piece of paper which is fresh. A fresh piece of paper. My time is running, I want to end, but the saucepan is yet coming. But I wanted to do this still. That name that you have written, nobody should be able to see it. We're going to burn it. Okay? We're going to burn the paper. And now that we're inside here, the rest will do the burn from outside now. Okay? We burn it back from outside. But this is what thing that I want to emphasize. Let me tell you this. If you are going to do this from your heart, you are going to do this from the bottom of your heart, I can assure you your life is going to change today and for the rest of the year. As you enter into the new year, you are going to enter as a new person. And when you are forgiving this person the way we are doing it here, when you are forgiving this person, what happens is, as you forgive these people and whatever, and then we are going to send them mobile money or buy them a present. Yeah. And I can assure you that is when you will have your total deliverance. That's how you're going to get your total peace of mind. You're going to have peace in your heart. You're going to be yourself again. Because I'm talking from experience, I've been there myself. When I talk about these issues, I have explained here many times what I've been through from childhood. But it was until also I did the same assignment. And that was when things shifted. And that's when things began to change even for me. That is when I began to see things in a different perspective. That's why I was saying, if you see me talk about the big things, I have a history for each one of those. Equally, you too, you can. Amen? So we can do this from out. So I'm just going to ask, you're going to just walk with me out there. We're going to burn the paper from out there. Then we will be able to collect it. Just cut that paper. The therapy, that is part of the healing. Because at the end of the day, we must be able to move. If you're here with your paper, please can you come forward? So let me use it here. Just feel free to come with your paper. I want you to read anything. Nobody will read anything. It is between you and yourself and the God. I want to make a disclaimer, this is a witchcraft. Okay? We just want to let go of these people and the ones who bring them from our house. Whatever they have done, now I want to give us another homework. after we plant these trees, whoever that did whatever they said that they did to you, where you can, even right now, fine. Because one thing I know, when you have issues with somebody, you don't want to give them anything, right? But from here, you're going to give from your heart. And as you're telling them, nobody man, oh, you're going to buy them anything. Please, I want to say this. Don't tell them that you're doing this because you are forgiven them. Because if you tell them that you are forgiven them for whatever they did, they are going to take offense, they are going to defend themselves. Then you're going to go into another argument. You have done this from your heart because you are doing them from your heart. Okay? And don't go to them and say, please, now I forgive you, so I just want you to forgive me for what you did to me. Number two, for some of them that you are forgiving them doesn't mean that you go back to the same thing with them. One. For example, some of you could be here and maybe there was this, you are a girl, then there was this man who raped you. Now you go to him and then you tell them, I have come to forgive you because last time you raped me, I have come to forgive you. He may agree. That's why maintain your lane now. You have done this from your heart. You know you now have a clean heart, then you want to maintain your faith. Yeah? However, if this is a family member who is dear to you, close family member, you might need to. But then you don't go to them in a way that you go to say this and that. But then for you then you come to a place of saying, you know what? Let me go. Because of ethnicity, our relationship has been affected. Things have not been working the way they should have. But I think from today, let's make amends. Because the family must always remain family. Are we together? I wish there was time. That's why I kept them saying the other day. Because these are things that we need to do practical. Because when we're talking about narrative therapy, we need to hear from you. Either in group sessions or one-on-one. But our time is not enough. Yeah? However, when you get time, seek for help. Get somebody you can talk to. Open up your heart. Talk about whatever happened. That is how you will get your peace. That's why, even in the Bible says in James chapter 5 verse 16, I think, yes, it says that confess your faults one to another and pray for one to another that there may be healing. Healing only comes when you open up your heart to confess whatever is there. Yeah? So please, I want to encourage you. Every life counts, and it is possible to move from left to right. It is possible. And I want to stop here. Unless there is a question or comment.